A sitting black congressman looked in America's face and said, if black people, don't fight Trump, we're headed back to the cotton fields. Not metaphorically. He said it straight. So today we're going to watch that claim sit next to people who actually believe the same logic, and then watch that logic and watch what it does when it hits the streets. No filter.
Hey, we got on rolling show. We got to vote, man, because if we don't vote, they're going to have us picking cotton.
Well, on that particular point, you talk about the loss of health care. When we begin to break down losses in so many areas, it also, of course, we look at what's happening with black farmers, look at what's happening in education, how they're removing the civil rights oversight from the Department of Education, going to other areas. And so what we are seeing is just completely mayhem coming from this administration, and they are attacking anything. They're looking at grants. They're looking at even corporations that fund black initiatives. They're targeting those things as well. And so we are seeing Black America impacted, loss of jobs, nonprofits are being impacted, black contracts in the federal government are down as well. This is an all-out assault on black folks.
Yes, it is. We have lost so many jobs. Trump used to talk about how good he had been to black folks in terms of job creation. It was lies then, but now we're losing jobs under Trump. Instead of him creating jobs or his administration creating jobs, they're losing jobs, and black folks are disproportionately losing those jobs. And it's it's a GOP war on black America. And if we don't stand up and fight back, we're going to be back in the cotton fields. And when I talk about fighting back, I'm not talking about taking up arms. I'm talking about taking it to the streets in protest, and also by exercising our precious right to vote. We're going to have to get out in November and vote, like John Lewis said, like our lives depend on it, because our lives do depend on it this time.
There you go again. They got cotton pickers, Hank. No one picks cotton anymore. One cotton picker can do the labor of 100 pickers. Even if black people didn't vote Democrat and they needed somebody to pick cotton, they wouldn't use people to do it. They just get cotton pickers to do it. Dumbass guy, you people are stupid.
Hank Johnson just told black America that job losses under Trump mean the cotton fields are next. Cotton hasn't been picked by hand in this country for generations. Machines do it. The claim isn't history, it's really theater. Cotton hasn't been picked by hand in so long. It's like, why is this a topic? When a politician reaches for slavery every time the numbers don't go their way, he's not protecting anybody. He's keeping the emergency light flashing so nobody looks at the actual results. And if you ask me, that's not leadership. That's dependency with a microphone. I want you to watch how far the same emergency thinking stretches when somebody takes it seriously.
Yes, black people need their own everything.
No, we don't.
We need our own hospitals.
Nope.
We need our own grocery stores.
Nope.
We need our own police force.
Nope.
We need our own government.
Nope.
So on and so forth. And you want to know why?
No.
Because white folks or any other race of people don't have no business policing over us, govern over us in no form or fashion, because that's a conflict of interest, because the history of this country, okay, and it's known hatred and bigotry towards black people, foundational black people in this country.
I'm not going to force you to sit through that whole thing. You know, there was a period of time in history where people were segregated. And now there's people out there like this lady, and it's like they want to go backwards. It's like they're cosplaying or fantasizing or pretending that they lived back then. And they're actually advocating for going back to that exclusionist society. Like, did you know that there were individuals who back in 2020, black people, they banded together and they bought a big plot of land out in Georgia somewhere, and they wanted to have a whole segregated society, right? And you know what happened with that project? You know where it went? Nowhere fast, right? Because segregation is not a good thing. It actually is moving backwards. But people like this, they really are advocating for this to come back. And I don't understand why. Like, the only reason segregation ended was because a lot of Republicans actually stood up to Democrats and realized, hey, we need to move forward and like get away from this mentality. But these kinds of people want to go back. And they're the first ones who will pretend that, oh, society's out to get them, when they themselves honestly present one of the greatest threats to our society moving forward and advancing. And this kind of mentality needs to stop.
Now, she doesn't want better policy. She wants a separate government. No outside rules, no shared country. This is what happens when the cotton field speech becomes the starting point instead of the punchline. You stop arguing for fairness and start arguing for exit. And the people selling that exit never have to live with the consequences of building it, right? From separate government to this next level of invention.
Get out and vote.
Yeah.
We got to stop this from happening.
Stop what?
They're
Stop.
trying to take away women's rights and people of color's rights to vote. That is
Really?
what they're trying to do. They're trying to suppress the voters of color. They're trying to suppress their rights.
So they're
And
trying
they're
to suppress the black vote.
They're trying to suppress us too. They want us back in the kitchen, barefoot
Us.
and pregnant, and
Back in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant.
kissing their asses and doing whatever their husbands tell them to do. That's what they want.
Yeah.
They want the trad wife. That's the new thing.
Yeah. So how would you say they're trying to take the rights of black people away,
This
or women?
this getting the voter ID is one of them. Because a lot
what
of
does
the
that do for
older
black
people
people?
that were born in the rural areas may not have a birth certificate.
So what would keep a guy like me from voting?
I probably wouldn't with you, because I probably born in a hospital in a
Yeah.
bigger metropolis area.
So it's not really
It's
hurting
more,
black people that are younger.
yeah.
Photo ID is now a plot to create trad waves and keep women barefoot in the kitchen. The same ID you need for a plane, a bank account, a job, or a bottle of wine is suddenly a gender control scheme when it's used for voting. That's not analysis, man. If you ask me, that's freestyle. And the fact that she says it with a straight face tells you how little reality is required once the narrative is actually set. Now we leave the speeches and the street interviews and hear from a black man who actually made it.
This is about to blow your mind. When I was selling pills and on probation for possession, the black folks encouraged that shit. It was like, free my boy. They bought the pills. They resold the pills. And the white folks gave me racism. They didn't like that shit. But now that I'm famous and make money, the black folks call me the coon more than ever in my life. And the white folks let me in the door, give me the most money, encourage me the most. The roles are completely reversed when a black man make it. This is the first time in my life black folks are my biggest haters ever. I'm not trying to bash black folks. I'm trying to let y'all realize y'all doing this completely reverse, bro. Y'all should be discouraging the drug dealers, the shooters, the robbers. Y'all should be encouraging the rich black man. But let's be real, who wanna be around some ghetto-ass black folks with their britches around their ass, cussing up a storm, loud as hell? Make that shit make sense to me.
He said the white people let him in the door. The hardest pushback came from his own once he decided to switch his life around. This is the part that never makes the congressional floor. Success inside the community still triggers something ugly in too many people, and nobody in power wants to touch it because it doesn't fit the script, right? You can blame the systems all day, but at some point, you have to look at the scoreboard inside the house. And this next one, man, it just, it doesn't soften it.
Black people are going to have to stand up en masse, and say, thank God for America.
Amen.
Thank God that we're here. Otherwise, we'd be in the Congo somewhere drinking dirty water, living a life of 35 to 40 years of age and dying, living in grass huts, not having substantial living quarters, if it were not for the fact that we were here in America. And the other thing is that when you try...
It wasn't for the fact of the white man.
The white man, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I know that. I watch your stuff and, you know.
You can slice it any way you want. You can get philosophers, teachers, theologians, whoever. But if you look at the continent of Africa, it is the worst continent economically. It is the worst continent religiously, culturally. Black people are going to have to stand up en masse.
So this pastor, Manning, asked the simple question: why hate the country where you're not drinking dirty water or living in a grass hut? He's not saying America is perfect. He's saying the compassion is so lopsided that the hatred starts to look like a choice. when the alternative is worse by every measurable standard. The anger has to be explained by something other than the conditions. Last clip, y'all. This is what the ideology looks like when it leaves the stage and hits the bar entrance.
Come back another time. Bye-bye. Not while we're here, though. These killer cops have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These killer cops have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These killer cops have got to go.
Black Lives Matter. BLM protesters block white people from walking into a bar. 0 disorderly conduct charges. Same city that will write you a ticket for the wrong parking, job suddenly develops selective vision when a disruption carries the right political flavor. That's not justice, man. That's just permission. We started with a congressman using the cotton fields as a threat. We ended with people blocking doors while the law looks the other way. In between, we watched the same mindset invent separate governments, gender plots, and community envy, all while ignoring the measurable differences that actually exist. And the loudest voices keep selling the emergency. The quieter reality is that a lot of the damage is self-inflicted, and the people who point that out gets treated like the problem. You don't have to hate, anybody to notice the gap between the speech and the results. You just have to stop pretending the speech is the result. I'm done talking for today. Drop the word threshold in the comments if you made it all the way through. And I'm going to leave you with, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. This is Hosea 4:6. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.